And that's it. We are live for 30. Colin, launch us,
Hey,
man.
good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Authentic Hustle,
Hello.
number 30. 30. I can't believe it's
Wow.
30, but it is.
Me neither.
And I can't believe I'm not 30, but I'm not.
Me neither.
VJ, are you turning 30?
I'm 23, so all good.
You look good for 23.
That's right. That's right.
Welcome, everyone. It's Wednesday, August the 27th, and our 30th episode. Ready to roll here with the Authentic Hustle, where all things are authentic. Today, I was talking to Kelly a couple seconds ago about different topics, things going on in the world, and none of them are actually really that exciting. Not the top 10 anyway. So we think we're more exciting than what's the current event. The current events are pretty repetitive when it comes to that. Like maybe if it was once a week, we got a new topic, but they just, I was really, I really wanted to talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting engaged, and Kelly says
Who
never.
doesn't want to talk about that?
Kelly said never on a show that I'm on, so we're not doing that. Actually, no,
I did not say that. We can talk about that all you want.
I did. I'm making that up completely, but I don't want to talk about that. So
Okay.
For a
why
second,
don't
I
we?
thought you were a Taylor Swift fan, Colin. So.
I am a Swiftie,
I was
but
gonna say, didn't you get tickets to the last concert?
no. My daughters went. They went into London, England.
Your daughters went.
And I just made sure there was no Coldplay photos of me at the Taylor Swift concert or anything like that. So why don't we spin to win? Who's gonna spin?
VJ's
Let's go.
Got it.
VJ, let's roll.
Let's roll.
Let's do it. It's been a while spinning it. So welcome back to Authentic Hustle, everyone. Show 30. Let's spin.
Let's spin. Spin that wheel, Vanna.
All right. 3 topics. What is the best way to consistently get more meetings? Number 1, great. Empowering employees to take ownership in startups. And number 3 is your LinkedIn targeting attracting leads or just likes?
Holy, I think this is right out of Kelly's playbook. Like
these do sound like topics I might take on. However, I feel like who chose last time?
I think I did.
You did. Okay. So VJ, I'm going to let you do the honors for AH30. What topic do you want to tackle this week?
What is the best way to get more meetings, empowering employees to take ownerships? I would go with this one because this is something I'm trying to I'm trying to champion it at the same time, also like struggling with it. So I'm on either side on this topic. So I want to explore this. Yeah,
I like it.
All right. What is the best way to consistently get more meetings? Wow. I could speak to this for probably 6 hours. So, I'm kind of, Colin, you've taken my training. VJ, you've known me a while. Like, I think I've given both of you advice on this particular one.
Yeah.
I'm going to let Colin lead this off. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about maybe what you've done historically, because I think maybe that's important is to be able to give context to what you used to do maybe and how it worked and what you're doing today. And remember too, that there's many ways to skin a cat, as some people may say, right? Yeah. Like there's a lot of different ways to get meetings. So I'm kind of interested and I'm more than willing to explore the way that I used to do it versus the way I do it today. And things have changed a lot for me in the last like 3 to 4 years, as with many people, I think. But Colin, maybe lead us into historically in business development, because you've been in sales and business development for many years, probably going on many decades at this point.
Hey, I'm not that old.
Well, yeah, but you've been in it. You've been in it a long time. If I've been in it a long time, you've really been in it a long time.
Yeah, true.
Bring us into how we used to get meetings. Let's call it in the early 2000s. And maybe how that's changed to what you do today. And I can also give my take and VJ can give his.
Sure. I think historically, if we go back that far, meetings were made by networking, what we'd call networking, right? The internet isn't what it is now. Connecting on the internet isn't what it is now. It was more in person and getting to know somebody, and then potentially, meeting the right person at the right time. I think that's what happened in my life anyway. And that worked for me. But my business at the time was certainly not international as well. Right.
Yeah.
The business I needed was very, I would say in a 50-kilometer radius of where I worked. So it was very easy to handle that way.
Yeah.
In having no, what I call the information age, I guess. Do we still call it that? I guess we do.
I think so.
Tech wasn't then what it is now. I'll go back to then when I had a pager, right? If VJ, do you know what a pager is?
Yeah, I know pager. Yeah, I've
Believe it
seen
or
it.
not, Colin, even I know.
I haven't used it. I've seen it. Yeah.
So I had a pager, but you would meet people and you would converse like that. And then I remember, like, this sounds funny, but the first cell phone I had as well, right? Like a flip phone or whatever. But actually getting those meetings were so situational, if you will. It was a matter of talking to a person that I meet VJ in a room. I meet him at a breakfast club. I meet him, vicariously at some chamber meeting or whatever that may be, and getting introduced to him. And then slowly, like not like it is today, like everything's instant. I can meet somebody today online and be talking to them in an hour. That really didn't happen then. It was like, 3 weeks from now or a month from now. I think business, I'm talking Canadian Alberta business, evolved a lot slower than it does today. So for me, that's kind of where it was at. If I go from where it was, very slow, take it as it comes. I have to admit that it was take it as it comes. If that's what there is, there must be no more business to be had. Right. That's, you didn't really, I don't want to be cliche, but shoot for the, what do they say? Shoot for the moon, hit the stars. I think, I shot for the top of the building and hit the door.
Right.
But you were limited at that time to the circle of people that you knew, basically, or the city you were in, or things along those lines. Whereas the internet age has completely changed that to where, your targets could be the world if that's what your company can do.
You're right. And my mindset back then is completely different than what my mindset is now. What I, are my belief systems. My belief systems now is VJ introduces me to somebody who worked for Rolls-Royce, right? Or, has lived in various cities. VJ's lived in various countries, that type of thing. That certainly to me, even 10 years ago, that wasn't a reality for me, to talk to people that have been there, unless I physically was in the same room knowing them. So I think business wise, that's where it's changed for me, is my ability to connect with somebody today is literally today. I could, like Kelly or VJ, if you said to me, here's somebody you need to meet, an hour after this Authentic Hustle, I could be on the phone with them. I could be on a Zoom call with them. And I think that's the game changer, is where things really happen. And probably why people get left behind as well.
No, it's I think most people are struggling with themselves, right? Especially when it comes down to the meeting aspect of it. I think many entrepreneurs, if not like 99% of us, struggle with picking up that phone and making that phone call, that hard phone call, right? I don't know if it's that we're afraid. I think what it is we have a hard time talking about ourselves. And many solopreneurs and entrepreneurs are marketing their own businesses, which we're probably the worst people. And me and Colin, we've talked about this many times. I think if you own the business, you're probably the worst person to market your own business, because you're going to hold back. You're going to hold back, and you may even sugarcoat it. You may even sugarcoat your own ability to be like, even though you could do it at this level, you're going to say that you can only do it at this level because you don't want to like speak to how good you are at something or how exceptional your product is. I see it over and over and over again. So as business owners, as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small business owners, medium business owners, when it comes down to talking about our own products and services, sometimes it takes a long time for us to get out of our shell and really really speak to it. Like I think even for myself, guys, and I've been doing business development mastery for a while. I've been doing business development retainers for a long time. And I feel like I'm only now getting to a point where I'm not afraid to I'm not toning it down. I'm saying this is what I can do for you. I can do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it took me years. It took me years to get there. And I mean, I'm the business development guy. So if I've struggled with it, I think everybody struggles with it on one point or another. But I think the important thing to remember with business development, specifically booking meetings, making new connections, it's never been easier. I can tell you that right now, as someone who's lived on both sides of the business development world, the pre-LinkedIn world and today's world. It has never, ever, ever been easier for you to connect with the right person and start that relationship and see if there's an opportunity there. And so a lot of business development at this point is more so working on ourselves, right? And Colin, that from the class we did together, so much of that is working with ourselves and saying like, okay, what are we going to commit to? Are we going to do it? It's not a matter of like, can you do it? It's a matter of, will you do it?
Yeah. And good point. In the last 24 hours, I think I've referred the course, the accelerator, to 2 people. One was about half an hour ago. Somebody had reached out to me and she had said she needs a better sphere group. She needs to like almost a cohort, right? Without using those words. She said she needs to have some coaching, but not like one-on-one business coaching. And I'm like, oh, you need the accelerator, right? With business development. And that's what I said. And I said, it's the best thing you'll ever do. And I'll say it this way, like she's like a beast when it comes to ranch real estate in Alberta. But she was looking for some help and that's the help. But let's go back 10 years ago. There's no way. Right. That would be like, oh, we'll meet at the Ranchman's downtown Calgary one time. Like, how about next February? And there's an event, right? And you're going into mid 2026 at that point. Yeah. And everybody just sits and waits until then and wonder why we're behind. And then last night I did the same thing in a conversation I had. I said, I think this is what you need to be doing. And this is why. So when I took it, I often say it brings me back to the basics, but it gets me that further faster, right? Yeah. It's like we forget what we need to do. We forget the steps we need to take. And for myself, if I miss a step now, I immediately just go back to it and fast forward myself. So I'll give you an example. When I referred your course to her, that was literally a half hour ago. This is what I couldn't do 10 years ago. I immediately got off the phone. I made one phone call and said, hey, I to another for a referral. I said, I just referred this person to you. Is it okay if she calls you direct on your cell phone? Yeah, that would be great. Then I said, there's a podcast you need to listen to as you got some windshield time. So within 8 minutes of the phone call, I had already talked to another person, forwarded the contact and forwarded a podcast for another one.
Wow.
So whatever she does with it, I don't know. Yeah. I assume she'll jump on it, but those are things I don't, not in my world, that I think were happening, right? For sure not. Like I was writing that down on a full ski piece of paper, hoping to get a business card and one day leave a voicemail if it wasn't.
Well, and let's talk about the power of podcasts, right? Like that's something that didn't even exist really like 10 years ago. Like I would say like I listened to my first podcast in 2015 and I remember thinking at that time, oh, I really like this, right? Like I was listening to audiobooks before that, but I was like, oh, I like this because it's short, digestible information, right? I'm not having to listen to an 8-hour book. I can listen to a 20 or 30-minute show and learn a lot. And even then, I feel like I was maybe a little bit late to the party in 2015. But even then, I still think I look back now and I'm like, no, it was still pretty early. I think the heyday or like when podcasts truly became mainstream was 2022. I think 2022 was the year where everyone's like, oh, this is a thing. like it really started to get its legs. And so it's pretty cool that we were able to launch the BDP right in 2023 and kind of take advantage of some of that momentum. But I hadn't planned for that. It just kind of happened that way. But it's been kind of neat because, we've been seeing the evolution of podcasts and they're only getting more popular, right? Like they're not getting less popular. Every year we're getting more and more listeners. I think it's growing somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1 million new listeners every year. Like it's pretty insane.
Right. So I'll throw this out there. When I was at the gym yesterday, and I go most mornings, traditionally I would go Spotify, workout music, that type of thing. I actually did. I just clicked on it and I'm like, this music sucks. I'm not listening to this. And I immediately went to podcasts. So I'm working out, listening to podcasts, right? And my workout's just as good. I don't need the rah, 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 rah to get me going. I need my mind to get going. And so I listened to one this morning, and while I was at the gym, I got to be cognizant of time because I'm an early riser. Jory Evans, who a lot of people have known, I forwarded him a podcast and I looked, it was 5:40 a.m. Yeah. And I'm like, a little early, like ding, he's getting a podcast from me. But that's the change. That's where we're at now is totally different.
Yeah, right? like the access to information, like the access to incredible information that will change your business, that will change your outlook on life is literally a text away. Like that's what you're saying. Also, I was completely wrong. Podcasts are growing by 35 million new listeners a year, every year, year over year.
Whoa. Yeah.
So like they are geared to be, the prime way that people get information, especially valuable information as we head into, 2026, 2027 and beyond. I think it's important that if you're struggling with growing your business, if you're struggling with getting meetings, find yourself motivational things like podcast episodes that give you a step-by-step and maybe just make you feel good. I think so much of it is just it's self-limitation, it's self-fear, it's fear that you're not good enough, it's fear that you're going to say the wrong thing. But what I can tell you about making calls as a business developer is I still screw up all the time. I'm a human. I do mushmouth. I mushmouth on calls and I mushmouth on my own podcast. I mushmouth on this podcast, right? Like you're going to make mistakes. Right. Just you're human, right? And actually it's funny because sometimes I'll mushmouth in the middle of a call and I'll be like, I don't know what just happened. And everyone laughs and the call frankly just got better, right? Like I think it's important to realize that it's completely okay if you don't know what to say. It's completely okay if you're like, I'm just going to call this person. I'm not really sure what I'm going to say. That is fine. Yeah. And maybe the first call sucks. Maybe the second call sucks. Maybe the third call sucks. But I bet you by call 4, 5, and 6, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to do it differently this time. And I'm going to say this instead. And by about call 10, you're going to be comfortable. And I always say there's something called a cold call cadence. It's like a runner's high, right? The first, let's call it 5 or 6 calls are always hard. And it doesn't matter whether or not you've been in the industry for 20 years or whether it's the first time you've ever picked up a phone and you're making a cold call. Everybody experiences it. The secret is to get past those 5 or 6 calls as quickly as humanly possible and then just keep going because they get easier and easier and easier each time. Typically, when I sit down to make cold calls, I don't sit down to make 6 cold calls. I sit down to make 26 cold calls. And I just go for it. And like I said, the first ones are always a little bit iffy. But by the time you get to 26, you're like, holy crap, that hour really flew by. And I think the important thing to remember is that if you're afraid of talking to somebody, if that's the fear is like, oh, I'm really afraid they're going to pick up the phone and I'm not going to know what to say. 80% of calls go to voicemail anyway. So what's going to end up happening and what I teach ultimately is that as business developers in the 21st century, we have to get really great at leaving voicemails people want to call back. So actually what you end up becoming is not a great cold call maker, but a great voicemail leaver. And if you can get great at leaving voicemails that people want to call back, you're going to find that more often than not, they are going to get a hold of you. It may not be on the first time. It might be on call 6, 7, or 8, but I think you're going to find you're going to get a hold of them and they're going to be like, oh, you're very persistent, but I can't wait to meet with you.
True. VJ.
Right. No, 30 Authentic Hustle 30 is it's a learning moment for me. I'm learning it. I'm not an expert at making cold calls at all. No. But that's me. I get at least like 12 a dozen requests every week to build your pipeline and whatnot on LinkedIn. I'm sure Kelly, Colin, you get it too. That's what I get it. So I'm learning that how to do that. I'm not an expert. I'm definitely learning that. But what I've understood is like how can we leverage the network? I think if you drop a comment, I think people just like instantly go check out who you are, and then like they want to connect with you, talk with you. So leaving a comment on LinkedIn or Twitter, I mean, that have actually like bolstered connections in like big time, and I see that growing. So leaving comment, right? Thoughtful comments. That is one thing. And the other one, I want to speak out is about AI chats. I think something that we can help people once they are on your website, right? Because it's like the trend that has been with the industry is at least like 97% of the visitors or website visitors take no action. They come, they scroll your website, do nothing about it, right? They just scroll and go. What if you entered a mall or you're going to a store and there's no one in the store to sell you anything, right? So that's where AI chats comes in, and AI chats will be there to talk with you. Like in terms of like it can engage with you in a conversation like a chat. Now everyone is comfortable with Chat GPT and whatnot. So the reason I'm plugging that is because you can literally have a conversation with AI and can answer all your questions and lead you to book a meeting. So that's what we do with AI chats, right? So once they're on your website, how to get them to book a meeting is what we champion at. But the other side is something I'm learning from you guys, like how to effectively make better cold calls. So I'm not an expert at all, so I'm learning that.
Yeah, and nothing is more powerful than social proof, right? Like Colin, the fact that you spoke with somebody this morning and said, I took this course, it was incredible. I think you would get value out of it. Take a look at it. There's nothing more powerful than that in marketing. I'm telling you that right now. I don't care if you spend $1 million on an ad. I don't care if you're posting your own stuff every single week on your pages. Nothing is more powerful than the recommendation of somebody else. And I think maybe that's the piece where we struggle with as entrepreneurs, is that we are reluctant to ask for that help. But I can tell you right now, I ask for that help all the time because I need it. I know I need that help as an entrepreneur. I can't do everything on my own. And, Catalyst Club, and I'm going to plug that briefly here, is a great example of that. Catalyst Club is designed in such a way that I keep it very private. I don't want things to leave Catalyst Club because the whole point of it is to create a private community where people can come in and share their challenges, their wins, in a place where they're not going to be observed by the entire internet, where they can be in a group of peers. So I've struggled with marketing Catalyst Club. Why? Because I don't really talk about it. It's just not. But here's the thing. Members can tell other members or future members, right? And be like, hey, I'm in this thing. It's super valuable. I'm an entrepreneur, a leader. I'm surrounded by entrepreneurs and leaders, people that want to help me, people who get it. Like, that is the biggest marketing thing that can happen for Catalyst Club. But the funny thing is that same thing applies everywhere, to every business, to every product, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is more powerful than having somebody else recommend your product to somebody else who needs it.
Yeah.
I would say, like, my most recent cohort is selling out pretty quickly. And we've talked about this, Colin, and I genuinely believe it's that word of mouth. It's the fact that from the last time, you guys are all posting your plaques and showing everybody, the awards and everything. And I learned a ton here. That hype is what's selling out this next cohort right now. So I couldn't have done that on my own. I can tell you that right now. I don't have the power to do that. It's the power of the incredible community that I've been able to build around myself. And I think that every business owner, that's what we have to be looking at doing at this point. Business in the future is about the community you build.
And that's great, because your community is right now.
Yeah.
Right? Your community is built right now. And I think if I use, I'm not talking down about them or whatever, but like a Rotary or a Breakfast Club or that type of thing, they get traction and they lose traction. They get traction, they lose traction, because you physically have to go there and make that time, commute, right? Commute there, commute back. And if you get anything out of it right now, this, we can establish an online Rotary, if you will, immediately.
Yes.
Right? We're there. So like the Catalyst or whatever club you may be part of, that is what you're getting. You're opening the door and walking in immediately. Right. So here it is. Here's your, I'll use the name Coffee with Rockstars, right? That's not giving away too much, but you should be part of it. Coffee with Rockstars is Friday at 9 a.m. I don't have to commute. I could be anywhere in the world and join it.
Yeah.
Right. And the beauty of that is it's not always the same people. The same nucleus is there, but we're going to have somebody from Florida. We're going to have somebody from India. We're going to have somebody from Dubai, and we're going to have somebody from Lethbridge, Alberta. Right.
Yeah.
So not like a Rotary where it's the same 16 people. And I don't mean that on Rotary, but the same 16 people every week for 49 years. Right.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Guess how I don't think there's a bunch of evolution happening there, right? Let alone creation, if you want to use those two terms. There's not a whole bunch changing. It's the same conversations. I want to be able to lock in and get into something new, something exciting, and listen to what's happening, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I learn.
And I think it's important to understand that it's not that or something else, right? Like it's not join an online community and that's it.
Right.
It's join an online community and be part of your local chamber, right? Like I'm part of two chambers. I'm part of the Parkland Chamber. I'm part of the Edmonton Chamber. Love the events when I can make it to them. The problem for me in my life, most of the time I can barely get out of the house. If I can get out of the house for a lunch on a Monday every once in a blue moon, I'm doing great. Like I have 5 kids. I have a partner. We both work from home. We have a lot of responsibility. I run 2 podcasts. I still do client work and I still run the Catalyst Club. And I coach. Like I'm busy. So leaving the house for even 3 hours. Isn't on the table for me most of the time. However, attending a virtual event for an hour and a half from home, totally doable. And I think that we have to consider people's time because people aren't getting less busy. They're getting more busy.
And I mean that too, is I'm a board member for the Lethbridge Chamber, right? So I promote it, I endorse it. I'm part of it. That's different because that's my community. That's my community I live in.
That's right.
Am I networking there? A little bit. But my business doesn't evolve around that.
Yeah.
So a little different that way, right?
Like it's not, I still am a firm believer that you should join your local chambers, guys. Like
Absolutely.
100% join your local chambers. They're a business community in your community that advocates for you, right? Like, you want them, believe me, you want them.
Yeah.
But for you need to cast that net wider too, right? You need to find an online community that you can get a part of because online events can be attended, like Colin said. You can be on vacation in Mexico, hanging out in Florida, chilling in Dubai, wherever you're at. We have members in Catalyst Club from worldwide, around the world. Like it's incredible. You can't do that at your local chamber.
Right? That's right.
But you can definitely build those local communities. Like VJ, we connected through the Edmonton Chamber. Colin, we didn't connect through a chamber, but we've talked about chambers a lot. They are definitely valuable and they have their point for the local business community.
That's right.
But you have to be thinking beyond that because now we live in a time where most of your products and services can be sold, maybe not worldwide, but definitely nationally. And you have to consider that when products and services can be sold through the internet nationally, you need to start to expand that reach beyond your local chambers. So when you join the Catalyst Club, we'd love to have you, but even if it's not the Catalyst Club, there's many, many, many online communities, and I think everybody should be considering joining one of them.
Well, here's something that just, I always say, downloaded to me while you were saying that, was it really became apparent how you make your next meeting is, I'll use it in real estate. If I have a client that says, oh, maybe I'll write an offer, I'm waiting. What are you waiting on, right? It's not the right market. Well, while you were waiting or deciding, somebody else was writing that offer, right? Now let's bring that into booking a meeting. While you weren't phoning or reaching out or emailing or texting or doing whatever you do going into that meeting, somebody else was. Right. Like, don't think we no longer have time to wait for 2 weeks to call Kelly or to call VJ and get the ball rolling, because guess what? A guy like me, I'm in there like whatever that means, like a dirty shirt. What does that even mean? But I'm in there.
You're in there like a shirt that needs tied.
Right. But if you think about it, there is aggressive people out there hunting for new business. And so while you said, you know what, I'm okay, I'm going to wait for the next proverbial meeting to happen and I'll meet them there. They've already conversed. They've already transacted dollars, and that's what we're here for. So I think you don't have to grind it till you find it. You don't have to go, but you do have to act, right? There's a call to action. You have to act now. And I believe when you do, Kelly, you alluded to sometimes an uncomfortable conversation or whatever it is, a hard topic. I don't like, who likes them? Nobody does, right?
Nobody does.
But, and they shouldn't. But what I do have to do is I feel so much better when I do it. I just do it. And okay, it's over, right? Because if not, I'm driving around, I'm driving and I'm like, oh, still didn't do it, still didn't do it, still didn't do it, right? It's that little thing on my shoulder saying, when are you going to do it? No one else is bothered by it but me, right? So
yeah.
Anyway,
no, it's one of those things that ultimately the hard conversations are almost always the path forward. Like if you look at everything you do in your life, you always grow in the hard things, right? It's the hard situation that you find your way out the other side that the most growth comes from. So like I'm an advocate, and Colin, you know this, I'm an advocate for pushing boundaries and trying to figure out what's next and always testing and trying to do things. Maybe you don't have all the answers and that's fine. Most people don't. And if they do, they're probably full of shit.
So, I was going to say they're not the truth.
So it's okay to not have all the answers. But it's also okay to not have all the answers and still try anyway.
That's right. Yeah. VJ, you wanna wrap her up?
Wrap it.
Yeah,
Sure
thing. I mean, like, go check out AI Chats. I mean, I think it's amazing. Yes. We would love to help. If you want to launch your idea or if you want to like market your message, we'll be more than glad to help. Go check out zadwell.com. I really want to share that. And then one other thing in terms of like, I think from connecting and making more calls is one thing is like I've told myself to not expect anything from anybody. I mean, like be people without any expectations, because I'm not expecting anything from anyone, because I don't think anyone owes anything to anyone. That's a real word I've accepted to live in. So that has given me a lot of peace actually, but it has also given me a lot of like good relationships and whatnot. But when I actually like found people on like, okay, make a decision right now, I'm definitely struggling with that. I would love to grow through that. But that's a learning moment for me. How can I push people at the same time, not break that, like the relationship or the bond that we have, because I'm more the relationship person. I want to keep that relationship. If that turns out to be a sales, it's fantastic. It's great. But if not, it's still okay. So but I'm learning that, Colin and Kelly. That's one thing. And to close it, I think Alberta was ranked like Calgary and Edmonton as the number 1 and the number 3 cities in all of Canada. Wow. I just saw that like a couple of days ago.
Amazing.
You Google it, the best city to live in Canada is like number 1 is Calgary. And number 3 is Edmonton. So super proud Edmontonians and Calgary people. So just want to end that with a positive note.
And number 2021 was Lethbridge. So not
wow, there you go.
Well, no, it was on the chart, Colin. It was actually at number 2, and then the wind picked up.
It blew it away. And I said, forget it. Yeah.
No, we have like 2 cities from Alberta. That's fantastic.
That's amazing.
Well, you know, Alberta's beautiful. You just got to be able to actually go. I think many of us are struggling with getting away for the weekend, but if you get the chance, Kananaskis, pretty darn nice. There's a reason they hold. I think it was the G7 this year.
G7 was great. Yeah. Anyway,
cool.
Well, that's it, peeps. It is episode number 30. Coming to an end. You can catch us on ah.live. You can find us on YouTube, and you can find us right here live only on LinkedIn. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for tuning in. And if nobody else has anything else to say, goodbye.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Boom.